Welcome to GoSimcha, the podcast that takes you on an in-depth approach to the Jewish music, entertainment, and simcha world. Now, here's your host, Zeesha Littman. The following episode of GoSimcha, the podcast, is proudly sponsored by Karen Simchas Chassan V'Kala. Karen Simchas Chassan V'Kala was founded over 25 years ago and is based in Brooklyn, New York. KSCVK helps widows, orphans, and people who are in dire need of marrying off a child. Working through their network of vendors, KSCVK ensures that every wedding is just as special as the next. Run by world-renowned party planner Devorah Benjamin, KSCVK takes care that each wedding is as elegant as the next one, ensuring dignity and class through every wedding that they put on. To donate to KSCVK, please visit their website, kscvk.org, today. That's kscvk.org, and help make someone's wedding special. Hey everybody, welcome back to another week of GoSimcha, the podcast. My, how time flies since last week. It was great. You know, we're up to episode 48 now, and this is another cool episode for me. Going back with this guest to somebody I used to work with in camp many years ago. He's a really cool dude. He was once, a long time ago, he got his start with the famous Miami Boys Choir, and he is now out there putting music out for you guys to listen to. Just came out with a cool music video. I'm sure you all have seen it. And I'm so excited to welcome a good friend of mine to the show, Zalman Pollack. Zalman, what's going on, man? Long time no speak since Camp Dora Golding days, eh?
Yeah, wow. It's been quite a while. Zeesha. So now it's Zeesha. It's not Sean anymore.
It's not Sean. You can call me Sean. It's okay. But to my listeners, I'm known as Zeesha. It's all good.
What about
What's up?
What about Zeeshan?
Zeeshan.
What about Zeeshan?
Zeeshan. That, you know, that now it sounds pretty hood, but I guess it kind of goes with where I'm from. But hey, you know, whatever works.
Yeah.
All good. So, man, what's going on? Where have you been forever? Like, you know, you as I mentioned in our little intro, you got your start with Miami, and I have a funny story about that. A couple weeks, like before the summer, when my kids were finishing up school, my middle daughter was putting on, how you say in English, a misibas of Shana, like an end of the year type of little thing. And one of the songs they were dancing to, one of the things they had a whole routine to, was Hine Matov from Miami. And I said, you know, Amuna, one of my friends was singing that song. And she would not let me stop playing the video for weeks. And so I said, you know, I have a friend who was in the video. She's like, who, where? I pointed to somebody in the video, and I said, that's my friend Zalman. And she said, he's your friend? I was like, and she thought it was the coolest thing in the entire world that I knew somebody in the Miami Boys Choir. And so you are famous in my house. Kol hakavod.
That's amazing. That's a great story. I love hearing these stories. It's funny, when I was in America, you know, post Miami Boys Choir, people didn't really know who I was. But I remember when I came to yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael, and I used to, you know, I'd walk around Gula or whatever, and these like little Israeli kids used to run over to me and be like, "Ata Zalman Pollack? Ata b'Perchen Miami? I need to read the DVD." I was like blown away, and I used to come back to the dorm and be like, guys, you'll never believe what just happened to me. And like, they would never, ever believe me until a couple of times that they were like with me, like, this is the wildest thing in the world. It's like, you're famous in Israel. I was like very excited about it also. It's pretty cool.
That's so funny. You're famous, man. You're famous everywhere. Because, you know, Miami, to be part of Miami is something really chashuv, you know. They don't just take everybody. I mean, look at the other guys who came out of Miami. You got Mordechai Shapiro, you got Ari Goldwag, you got some big name guys came out of Miami. But how did you end up there? I mean, like I said, Yerachim Begun doesn't just take anybody to join the Miami Boys Choir. How did you end up
there? So it's actually a pretty funny story. I was 8 years old, and I remember I used to sit around the Shabbos table with my family, and we'd sing Zemiras. And as a little overly confident 8-year-old, I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty good. I'm a pretty good singer. Abba, I want to be in Miami Boys Choir. And my father turned to me and said, "Okay, Zalman, that's yeah, you're great, that's funny." And I was like, "No, really, I want to do it." So my father, I was 8, so my father didn't take me that seriously. So what I did was that I knew that there were a few people in my shul whose sons were in Miami Boys Choir a long time ago. One of them there was Deutsch, and actually the Spinners was from Staten Island, and there was a boy named Jakob Zachter. So I approached their fathers and I said, "Hey, I want to try out for Miami Boys Choir. Can I have your Achmiel's number?" And they said, "Oh, okay." It was Shabbos. They couldn't give it to me right then and there. So I went home. Immediately after Shabbos, I looked in our phone book and I called them. And I said, "What's your Achmiel's number? I'm ready to call him." So they gave me this number. And I remember I called your Achmiel myself, and I left a message. There was a message, and I said, "Hi, my name's Zalman Pollack, and I want to try out the Miami Boys Choir. When can I come in?" And I left my phone number, and he called back, and he said, "This is when the tryouts are." And I just remember I went to my father, and I said, "Okay, Abba, listen, this Sunday I have a tryout for Miami Boys Choir." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I called Drachmiel, and he said I could come try out, so we're going to try out." And the rest is history. I got into the choir. And I was there for 5 years, 5 great years, learning a lot from a master like Drachmiel the Gun, and creating lifelong friendships with, like you mentioned before, with Mordechai Shapiro and a few other guys that are, phenomenal artists today. It was a great experience.
That's really funny. That is wildly hilarious. And you just got up there and called him, and he's like, "All right." So what's it like being part of such an illustrious choir? Meaning, like, they're not actually in Miami, right? Like, you're not actually going down to Florida. It's just the name. It's kind of like how Toronto Boys Choir, YBC started off as Toronto Boys Choir and things like that. It's not actually in Miami, right?
Yeah, so actually, I think Miami was the one that started as Toronto Boys Choir.
Right.
Toronto, and then it went to Miami.
I should know better.
Yeah, it went to Miami. I only know it because I've had to answer this question so many times. Toronto, it started in Toronto with Yerachmiel, and then they moved to Miami, and they changed the name to Miami Boys Choir. But then Yerachmiel moved to Brooklyn, New York, and the name was already pretty popular, and it stuck.
Right.
So they just continued to call it Miami Boys Choir, and I remember, like, a lot of friends used to ask me, like, "Wait, so you go to Miami every Sunday for practice? That sounds amazing." No, I go to 18th Avenue in Brooklyn. Like, we get Mendelssohn's pizza after practice. That's our most exciting part of it. But to be part of that choir is especially for such young kids is really it's really an experience, and it's really a maturing experience. Like, you're Achmiel, like, as understanding as he is, that he's working with children, but at the end of the day, we're putting on real performances. We're recording real albums, and it takes a certain amount of perfection to do it. So it's a very maturing experience, and an experience that you could really take for your whole life to have discipline and to be able to pay attention and to learn new things fast. And it's really, to be part of it was something special, especially when like you look at the history of Miami and how many amazing songs they've had. It's really such an amazing experience to be such a part of such a rich history.
No, for sure. And it's funny because when I was younger, my friend, I don't know if you might even remember him, he worked in Dora Golding with us also, my friend of Rami Lorcas, one of the first he was like,
sure,
good at hockey. Yeah. So one of the first Jewish.
Yeah, I was about to say, great hockey player.
Yeah, you got it. So one of the first Jewish tapes I ever listened to, he gave it to me as like a birthday present. He's like, and I'm talking about a tape. I'm not talking about a CD. I'm talking about a cassette tape. One of the first tapes he ever gave me was a Miami tape. And I think it was Stand Up. And I listened to that thing like all day, every day, until I think it kind of just disintegrated. Like, I think with tapes, the film just kind of like disintegrated. Yeah, I'm not joking you. And I was obsessed with that.
You put the pencil inside too many times.
I put you got it. I put the pencil inside too many times. And like, that's how good the music was. And you're saying, like, especially you said, like, your children you guys couldn't have been more. You were 8. Like, you know, how many people, like, they probably not passed bar mitzvah over there. But, like, yeah, you know, it's a lot of work, but it comes out with a good product. And I think it's really cool that you got to experience that. And was that your first, I mean, minus Naguna singing at the Shabbos table, was that your first foray into music, or were you doing other stuff before that? Were you playing instruments, or were you doing anything else? Or was this like your first like step into the music world?
Join the leader in Glatt Kosher Tours today with Kosher Rika Tours, luxury cruises aboard the most desirable kosher cruise lines in the world. Glatt Kosher gourmet cuisine prepared fresh daily, and world-class scholars and residents aboard every tour. Experience the world with Kosher Rika today. Our tours sell out fast, so book yours today by visiting KOSHERICA.com today. That's kosherrika.com today, and experience the world through Kosher Rika's eyes.
So that was my first real step into the music world. I did go to day camps where they had choirs. I was part of that. But in terms of like really doing something music wise, Miami Boys Choir was the first. Learning it was something that I regret to this day that I didn't do earlier. I'm actually trying to teach myself guitar now, just because, as you said, I put out that Havdalah clip, and you know, it's portrayed as, you know, somebody who does that Havdalah usually comes along with a guitar. And everybody's like, oh, so like, yeah, I'm going to need to bring a guitar with me to do this Havdalah. But I actually started teaching myself a little bit of it. I've had some good friends of mine who are, you know, very talented. One being, I think he was on your podcast, Joey Newcomb.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine. So so he taught me the basics, and I actually did my first Havdalah with playing guitar in front of an audience a couple of weeks ago. It was a pretty fun experience.
That's awesome. No, I love playing the guitar. It's one of my favorite instruments that I play. And I also kind of learned it by default. I remember, I think I was in yeshiva, and somehow I ended up waking up the night after my 19th birthday with a guitar in my room. I don't remember where it came from, but I said, okay. I got a guitar, and I sat down. I said, I want to play this song. So I taught myself how to play the songs I wanted to play, and just kind of spiraled from there. And I got like 3 guitars up in my house, and I sit and I jam whenever I have a spare minute, which rarely happens, but you know, it's all good. But that's really funny. So you show up to this video, and you're like, oh, I don't know how to play this. I'm just gonna pretend. That's funny.
So thank the good Lord that in the video I'm not actually portrayed playing the guitar. They did have like a band behind me with a couple of guitars, but like it's just the idea, like, oh, the Havdalah guy, I'm sure he knows how to play guitar.
Why not? Now I wanted to go back and ask you another question about Miami, because it is quite interesting. Did you learn any like unique musical skills? I mean, other than like voice training, obviously. Like, did you learn any unique musical skills while you were in there for 5 years? Like, did you pick up anything new that has helped you now?
So so definitely things that I learned in Miami, I'm good at now as a result of being in the choir. When I first joined the choir, I actually was accepted on condition that I work on my timing, my tempo. So that was something I worked on a lot, being in the choir and being part of live performances. And now, when I do a wedding and stuff like that, like my timing is significantly better than it would have been if not for being in the choir, and breathing and different things. You know, you when it comes to music, there's never a time where you say you're done, you've learned everything, because music, I'm sure, as you know, as being a musician yourself, there's always new little tweaks and things that you could do better and stuff like that. So.
Music is like Torah. It's never ending. You're always being medayek something new. You're always finding something new. You're always finding something that some chiddush somewhere, and it's never ending. 100%, man. and I think it's really cool. So now, like 5 years later, you're done with the choir. They kicked you out. They said your voice got too deep. Shalom Yisrael, have a wonderful day. What happened after that with you, music wise?
Wow. That's hilarious. I didn't get kicked out. I moved to go to Yeshiva's Ner Yisrael. But you're right. My voice did get too deep, and at that point, it does look a little bit weird when everybody else is singing, and you're going, So at that point, I was done with the choir. So
you're the baritone. You're the baritone. It's okay.
Exactly. So when I went to yeshiva, and really from high school through Beis Medrash is really where I started, honing my skills as a Baal Tefillah. Learning how to daven and then coming up with new chidushim in davening to kind of stand out a little bit to make it as nice as possible. Really, my music career was kind of on hold for a little bit. In Baltimore, I did it, like when I was in yeshiva there, I did a couple of, masibas, or I did a vard in town or a chuppah. But for the most part, I wasn't really doing much until I went to, when I went to yeshiva in Israel. I went to Torah's Moshe, and I hooked up with a few guys from different yeshivas. One of them was in yeshiva with me, but he introduced me. His name's Effie Talbenblatt. He introduced me to a few people, one of them being Joey Newcomb, and another good friend of mine, Moshe Vigder, who we used to go to Shabbos meals together.
I know Moshe Vigder.
We used to, we were like those guys who went to the Shabbos meals. Oh yeah, so he's a great guy, and he's one of my good friends and an unbelievable musician, by the way. And we used to go and sing by like people's houses just for whatever. They used to invite us over, and we used to just sit around the table singing, and it was beautiful harmonies and everything. And we just we just looked at each other and we said, hey, this is pretty great. When we get back to America or even in Israel, like maybe we could do something with this. And when we got back to America is when we started doing it for real. Like I have a group now called Kol Alev that all these guys are a part of, and we started doing Shabbos simchas like bar mitzvahs and ofros and davening for the yamav there and leading zmiras and leading an oneg, and that's actually where I got my start doing the Havdalah was doing it on these Shabbos jobs.
Nice.
So that's where I went musically after that. I still do it.
That's
you gotta do Havdalah. But so it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and we started doing it as a group, and from there people saw me a little bit. I got asked to do some bar mitzvahs, and recently after I put out the music video, I started getting a little bit into the wedding game, and to singing at weddings, which I love. To me, there's no greater energy than a chatzana. See misameh chatzana kala, you see everybody dancing, and it's such a thrill to be able to share the stage with people who do this all the time, that are, like really upper echelon musical people in the Jewish world. And it's just, that's where I'm hoping now with the music. I'm hoping to put out, hopefully, more stuff, but that's where I'm holding right now. That's
really cool. So you got quite the story there. And it must be, it must be crazy to have gone from that trying out for the choir, taking that initiative, trying out for the choir, to now singing in front of people at weddings and getting and being that entertainment, being that life at the party. It must be a lot of fun. Now you said you started, you sing with Joey. You and Joey do some stuff together, or you did. That must have been fun.
We still. Yeah, doing things with Joey, as I'm sure he is unbelievable, energetic, and just so much fun to be around and so much fun to have at your simcha. But yeah, me and Joey started. We were doing these Shabbos jobs together for a long time. Now he does it more. He's requested to come solo a lot because of all of his success in the music world. He's unbelievable. People love him, and he's got such a great energy to him and all of his songs. But I'm actually, me and a couple of the guys from our group, we helped record some of the choir tracks on his album.
Oh, nice.
Which is fun.
That's really cool. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with him. He tells me like the way he comes up with the songs, the way he told me the to be a yid. He said he was davening mincha one day, and he opened his eyes and he looked around and he's like, "There's a Litvish guy, there's a Sephardi guy, there's a Hasidish guy, there's a Breslov guy, there's like everybody here." And he just starts singing this song in his head, and people are like, "Stop singing, so shots." And he's like, "Oh, like."
It's funny.
And I was just like, that's crazy cool, to be able to throw that out there. He made a song for me too. He made like a little 30-second clip for me, for GoSimcha. It was fun. But yeah, it seems like you're really getting yourself out there. Now, how did this Havdalah clip come to be? How did this music video? Because music videos, people put them out. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Yours was over the top. Yours was awesome. How did this happen?
Okay, so this is it's another story unto itself.
I like stories.
Honestly, the best way to describe it is that it kind of just happened by accident. But I have a good friend, Shia Kamenetsky. He's actually the guy who produced the single for me. He goes by Chad K. And he's got a lot of connections in the music world. Aaron Teitelbaum and Steve Blumenfeld from Freilich. And he said to me one day, we were in the park. We live in the same neighborhood. We're in the park on Shabbos, and he's like, Zalman, you got to put something out there. Like it's another, you're like, oh yeah, you do the kumzit scene and whatever, but like you got to put something out there. You're good. Like why? Like there's you have so much talent. Like why don't you share it with everybody? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm one of these guys. I don't take myself too seriously. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I dive in, but like, who's gonna want to like see a clip of me doing a song or whatever? And he's like, no. So he stayed on me about it, and he's like, just send me some videos. Send me some videos of you. So I actually sent him a few chuppahs that I had done, and obviously I sent him Havdalah I'd done, and he sent it to. He sent it to two people at the time. He sent it to Avrami Burko and Steve Blumenfeld from Freilich, they're both unbelievable musicians and arrangers. And they actually both said the same thing, but we ended up going with Steve because he had the time at the moment. But they both said like he sounds great, but we really think that where he sounds most comfortable is doing this Havdalah thing. And how would he feel about doing a Havdalah clip? It's not something that's been done. People have recorded Havdalah, but it's never been done with a real music video. It's never been really done with real arrangements. So I was like, okay, yeah. So I was like, sure, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Again, in my head, this is not actually going to happen. Like, yeah, it's okay. It was a good talk. Somebody liked it, and we'll see if anything comes of it. Before I knew it, I was told, okay, here's the music that I think that we should do with it. I got put into a WhatsApp group. As you know, you get added to these WhatsApp groups. It's always a fun experience. You see, admin has added you, and and I look at the title of the WhatsApp group, and it says Havdalah by Zalman Pollack, and I'm like, wait, what just happened? And he sent me the music, and the music was beautiful, and we got together, we recorded it, and it wasn't done there, it was just doing the recording with Steve, who arranged it beautifully, and by Silver Sonic Studios, which was amazing. Then came the music video part, and I was like, okay, fine. So we recorded it. It's just going to be a recording. It's not going to be a music video. Before I know it, I'm added to another WhatsApp group called Havdalah Music Video 2019 with a woman named Ruchi Sharp from Sharp Productions, who puts out unbelievable content. And she actually did Shulam Lemmer's Tanila video. I don't know if you ever saw it, but it was just a wild experience. Before I knew it, we had a script, we had actors, so it was actually pretty funny that I was told, like, I was like, okay, so we want to do it like a kumzit style thing. We want a lot of people to be in the music video. Let's see how many people we can get to the music video. So we picked a date, and we created a WhatsApp group, myself and Shia, and we said, we put it out, hey, just like, oh, we're filming. I added like everybody who I thought might enjoy it. It was like I had like 150 people from my neighborhood, like, who might enjoy it, including most of my family.
Right.
Before the day was over, 100 people had left the WhatsApp group. So it was like we were left with 50 people, but yeah, it was like everyone, like the second you see like something like this looks random, and then like, okay, so I got oh yeah, I'm not gonna actually be able to make it, but like before we knew it, we were cut down to like 50 people, and we had those 50 people come out on a winter night in Dumbo, Brooklyn, and we recorded what I think was an amazing production by Sharp Productions and produced by Chad K. And I just honestly, my only hope for it was that it should bring, Simcha to Yidden. That's really what it comes down to. There's so much, hard things going on in the world,
Right.
especially in these days, and to be able to use the mushal of Havdalah to light a candle, to spread a little light, and to, try to bring a smile to people's faces with this was something that I was very proud of, and I was very happy that about the response. The response to the video was overwhelmingly positive, and I was just so happy with how it came out, with the fact that hopefully it brought smiles to people's faces.
That's awesome. Kol hakavod, man. You seem like you've got a lot of stories, and kol hakavod. It seems like everything's moving up for you. And now you mentioned you're also doing weddings.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Listen, I got to start working on the next project.
Well,
yeah, I do weddings. I've been doing weddings.
What's the biggest wedding you've done so far? What's the biggest wedding you've done so far?
Biggest wedding I've done so far is not a crazy big wedding, but I just did a wedding in the Brightstone Hall, the new Brightstone Hall in Passaic, New Jersey, together with Blue Melody, led by Ari Boyanju, who actually played my wedding back when it was before Blue Melody was around. It was Nusach Ari, I remember, but he's also an incredible musician. So I did that wedding with him. It was a pretty nice sized wedding, and I hope more people saw me at that wedding, and hopefully we'll get more. But I've done a few with Coldplay, with Ari Kunstler and Sari Brody, and
Nice.
just trying to get more out there. Hopefully do more of it. It's such a great experience. It's a lot of fun to do these things. I love it. Music is, for me, always been a passion. So.
Well, it seems like you align yourself with the right people. I mean, like you just said, you did something with Coldplay, with Kunstler. Ari was great. I had him on the show a couple weeks back, and he was a lot of fun. And he's also ridiculously talented, both musically and as a writer. He's ridiculously talented. And I think it's really about aligning yourself with the right people and getting involved in the right circles, so that way they can propel you to where you want to be. Have you ever done anything with Mordechai Shapiro? I mean, your former choir mate.
I've never sing like formal like that with Morty. I've sing with him like when he was singing at a wedding, and I saw him at a wedding, and we know each other, so he let me take another mic. We'll sing there, or I did I remember we once collabed on Yom Narayim davening tune, and every once in a while we've jammed in the past, but nothing formal, nothing that came out with him. But he's another one. He's so great. He's so talented. It's amazing. It's amazing to see what the joy that these singers could bring to people. It's really inspiring.
Oh, for sure. Now, in a world saturated with Jewish singers, and everybody and their brother nowadays becomes a Jewish singer, what makes you different? What makes you so special that people would be like, hey man, I want to get Zalman Pollack in my chasana?
It's a great question. It is a great question. There is definitely a lot of singers out there, and each one is very, very talented in their own right. They're all great. There's a reason why they're going into it. For the most part, people push these people into it, and it's because they're really good. What I hope stands out about me is just what I feel to be is that I really sing from the heart. I really have a lot of emotion when I sing, and aside from what I hope that it's a voice that people enjoy listening to, and a voice that I'm working on constantly, going to voice lessons and stuff like that as well. But what I hope is setting me apart is the emotion and with which I sing. But I know the energy and the emotion with which I bring to the table is what I'm hoping people latch onto and see, especially when singing a slow song by a chuppah, you see the emotion of how much I care about the words and the song, and how the music speaks to me on an emotional level. And when it comes to the dancing by a chasana, seeing that how that type of music creates the energy and gets my heart going like that, and also on an emotional level, but in a more Levitic fashion. That's what I'm hoping stands out.
That's important. Meaning, and people can tell, when you're real and when you sing and you're putting all your emotion into it, people can tell, and that really does make a big difference in the music. And I can tell too. You have a great voice. You're very talented. The way you deliver, the way your range goes, you're really good at what you do. And if I was making a wedding, I'd hire you. I'd have to find you on GoSimcha.com, but that's another story.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, but hey, listen. If you're not on GoSimcha.com, you don't exist. Sorry. But nonetheless, hey, just speak. You speak from the heart. I speak. You sing from the heart. I speak from the heart. But nonetheless, what was one of your craziest experiences that you had in the choir? I'm sure you guys had a lot of fun times, and whether it was doing the original choir stuff. You mentioned to me when we spoke on the phone the other day that there was some sort of reunion. What was one of the craziest experiences you ever had with Miami?
One of the craziest experiences I've ever had. So I think it goes twofold. I think there's one as a kid and one as an adult. And experience for me as a kid. This is what stands out to me the most. It wasn't, the solos were great, the productions were great, but there was one a concert for an organization at the time called Hazinu, which was for, to help parents who had children with. Yeah. And we did a concert together with A.B. Romberg.
Oh, wow.
We did a concert together with A.B. Romberg. And I remember that I got the solo to sing his Ani Mamin together with him. Now, For me personally, A.B. Romberg is one of the most inspirational people to ever come across the Jewish music plane. It's his music and his work, his lyrics. There was a time where I knew every single song, every lyric by heart, and it was such a surreal age. And sing his Ani Mamin together with him. Now, it came along with a funny story because I remember Yachmiel told me, when I start playing the piano, when you walk out, and then we're going to start the song. And I said, great, no problem. He starts playing the piano. So I, as was told, out, he just stops. He just stops playing the piano. And he just starts talking to A.B. And I'm just standing there in between getting to the mic stand, in between from walking out from where I was. And I'm just standing there and frozen. And I look at the crowd, and the crowd's all staring at me, what's going on here? To my shoulders. And the whole crowd just starts cracking up. I walk back to my spot, and then Rachmiel starts playing again. And then I walk out, and I got a tremendous ovation for just walking out at the right time. And grabbing the mic. I don't even remember how the solo sounded. That was just the experience.
That's so funny. Yeah. Wow. Well.
Yeah, but then as an adult, when Raphael brought us back to be part of the Miami alumni, just that experience alone, and just going out there back on stage with a bunch of in the choir with. And guys who were there before me, like Malcolm Stark and Eric Stern and all these other guys, these other names that were in the choir before me and with me and a little bit after me, and just going back out there as the camaraderie of hey, we're all Miami Boys Choir kids. If it was high school, gotten a little bit beat up, but now it's cool.
Right.
But it was a great experience as well. It was just a lot of fun to be with.
Wow.
Hearing their stories and our stories, sharing stories, that was a fun experience too.
That's really cool. Wow, Zalman, man, it was great having you on my show. It was great catching up with you, seeing where you're at, and how much you've really taken your career to the next level, and all the fun stories you have. It was a trip. I'm so happy I had the opportunity to get you on the show, and I'd love to thank Tzvi Younger for giving me your number, meeting up with him at that wedding in Detroit, and passing me your number, because this was really great. This was really cool. So I wish you tremendous hatzlacha in everything you're doing, and for those who are interested in getting Zalman to come perform at their chasana, where might they be able to get in touch with you? Is there some sort of place where they can find you and book you online? Or is there some sort of phone number that you want
So currently I have, I created an Instagram page, which is at Zalman Pollack on Instagram. But my information is there on my page. But also I am hoping, as me and you discussed, to be a part of the GoSimcha family. So we're gonna hopefully try to get on that site pretty shortly.
That would definitely help, because for those who don't know about GoSimcha, it is a hub for Jewish event vendors in the Simcha and Mitzvah space. It's where we host our podcast in one of the many places. And it's a great place to find all your vendors in all one place, especially musicians who, like Zalman, who are extremely talented, and you want to get them to come through to your weddings. And like I said, I would book you at my wedding, man. If I was making a wedding, my kids are like 7, 5, and 4. So not happening anytime soon, but Be'ezrat Hashem. And you'll travel to Israel. You'll do chasanas in Israel. You'll go all over the world. It'll be great. But no, for real, man, it was a pleasure having you on the show. I loved every minute of it. You had me in stitches before, and very few guests have had me in had me rolling on the floor laughing with their stories, which is a good thing.
Listen, Zeesha, you know how for all of our years in Dora Golding, you rock in the comedy plays. You always had everybody in stitches. So I'm happy that I can return the favor a little bit. But it was a real pleasure. It was a real pleasure being on here.
For sure, man. For sure. Yalla, keep me posted with all your stuff, man. I want to know what's going on with you. I want to see more music. I want to see more videos. I want to see more albums. Keep me posted with everything, because you're very talented, and I think you should be very matzliach in everything you're doing, and continue to keep rocking, dude.
Mitzvah Shem, and thank you so much for having on. And Mitzvah Shem, you should also keep doing the GoSimcha. Spreading Simcha in these days is so important. We need Simcha in our lives, and it's the hatzlacha in the world. You should to be able to continue to do this on Ne'ev Esrim and do it successfully.
Amen. Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
You've just listened to another wonderful episode of GoSimcha the podcast. For more news, updates, and information on our next episode, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram at GoSimcha Live, and don't forget to check out the show notes and videos on www.gosimcha.com along with zeradio.com.